that the man behind the camera wants to read some poetry.
Anybody have any poetry for me to read? I don't have anything. No.
He's got a book. It's first for me. I love it.
Bill.
Excuse me, Bill. Have you filled out the form?
Yes, I did. Absolutely. The instructor said, go home and write a page tonight. Let that page come out of you. Then it will be true. Wonder if it's that simple. I am 22, colored, born in Winston-Salem. I went to school there, then Durham, then here to this college on the hill above Harlem. I am the only colored student in my class. The steps from the hill lead down into Harlem, through a park. Then I cross St. Nicholas, 8th Avenue, 7th, and I come to the Y, the Harlem Branch Y, where I take the elevator up to my room, sit down, and write this page. It's not easy to know what is true for you or me at 22, my age, but I guess I'm what I feel and see and hear. Harlem, I hear you. Hear you, hear me. We two, you, me, talk on this page. I hear New York too. Me, who? Well, I like to eat, sleep, and drink, and be in love. I like to work, read, learn, and understand life. I'm a pipe for a Christmas present, or records, Bessie, Bop, or Bach. I guess being colored doesn't make me not like the same things other folks like you, who are other races. So will my page be colored that I write? Being me, it will not be white. But it will be a part of you, instructor. You are white, yet a part of me as I am a part of you. That's American. Sometimes, perhaps, you don't want to be a part of me, nor do I often want to be a part of you. But we are. That's true. As I learn from you, I guess you learn from me. Although you're older and white, and somewhere more free. This is my page for English B.
That was good, Don.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do one of the features now, one of our 3 featured poets. Then we're going to take a break, come back with a second feature, do some more open mic, have a third feature, and then call it a night. Danuta E. Koskasichka is a biochemist, poet, translator, and co-editor of Loch Raven Review. For several years, she co-hosted One Tree Poetry Readings in Carroll County Arts Council in Westminster. She is the author of Face Half Illuminated, Apprentice House Press, and Oblige the Light, City Lit Press, winner of the 5th Annual Harris Poetry Prize, as well as the translator of 2 bilingual books by Lydia Kosk. Please welcome Danuta E. Koskasichka.
Hi. Thank you, Cliff, for reaching to me and inviting me to read here. I'm such a wonderful company. I feel almost at home because even though we live in Catonsville, which is, next to Baltimore, I have so many friends in here, and I read with Barbara, I don't know how many years ago, and with Sean, who also helped me with my self-made book, and also because I was co-hosting that series at the Carroll County Art Council for many years. So the timing is wonderful because I just have my first book by professional press. It's called Apprentice House, and this is a very interesting place. It's Loyola College, and it's the oldest student-run press in the country. That's what I'm told. Can you hear me all right? Okay. Have you gotten used to my accent? Good. The thing started like January 2014 when I submitted this proposal for the book, and then the students had to debate it, and then half a year later I learned that they actually want to publish the book and so on. So the book officially came out the end of December, but it is coming out now. I think the most important thing was for me to come up with the idea, because it is a unique book. It consists of my poems written in English. I write in both languages. The other one is Polish. And then there are my translations of my mother poems. My mom, Lidia Kowski, is a poet who lives in Poland, and I have actually translated many poems of hers for 2 bilingual books. And then there are also 2 essays. First, the one that opens the book is called Turning to Poetry, and it kind of explains how I, a biochemist, I have PhD in biochemistry, became a poet and translator. So that's revealed in the first essay. And then in the essay that closes the book, I give my thoughts about the translating process. Different translators have different approaches. Some are very literal, and some go to the other extreme, making the poems, the translations actually their own poems based on the original in that language. And also many of the translators don't know the language or are not poems. So there are, many possibilities. So I give my own, how I see it and why I do what I do. And by the way, I have copies of the book, so I'll be very happy to sign them for you. I will read 4 poems of my mother's that I've translated into English, and then 4 of my poems. And the reason I'm doing it in this order is that the last poem of hers that I will read kind of speaks to the first poem of mine. And by the way, when I was putting these poems together, I wanted them to talk to each other in a way, of course, as much as it's possible, because they were not written as a conversation. So in a way, this is a conversation not only across the ocean and generations, and also mother-daughter and different geography. So you will see. I mean, this is just a sample 4 poems. It's not that much, but it will give you some idea. Okay, so having said that, I'm reading the first poem, which is called From the Window of My Apartment. Above the apartment house, whose windows exchange looks with mine, the moon got stuck among the rocks and boulders of clouds. He kept hanging there stubbornly until I forgot that I had broken with him permanently, until I forgot that my soul did not sing anymore, until all of me was a song. And I want to say that this poem, actually the translation, has been translated into music. A composer, Philip Olsen, has written music for a mixed choir performance, and actually it was performed 2 years ago. And here in the States, also the choir traveled to Peru, so, great. And there will be 2 other poems. Oh, I have to give them first. Okay, and the next poem will be Calvados. And this one is dedicated to my son, Piotr, who invited my mom, that is his grandmother, to Easter break in Paris. So Mom dedicated this poem to him. Calvados. I sip Calvados instilled with a whisper of remarks pen, dark current of the Seine, chill of cloud drifts surrounding our plain. Blissfully fatigued after the conquest, I float over Arc de Triomphe, once again find Chopin at Père Lachaise. In Luxembourg Gardens hold a monologue with the stone lion, soar into Pantheon's firmament captured in my lens. Until I can go. Until scratched by a spike on the tower, I fall on the bridge by Notre Dame. In the droplets of the spirit, like a snake, dances the desire to encounter Paris on all the bridges of his Seine. Okay. And this one is called In the Current of the River. So this river is very different from Seine. And in this poem, my mom goes back to her childhood. She was growing up during the Second World War. So Germany invaded Poland in 1939. So for 6 years, Poland was occupied by Germans, and that's part of what was her experience. In the current of the river. Let's assume the river continues to flow among the swaying grasses, interspersed by small mirrors of water and young alders still growing. Full of vortices, self-cleaning, fordable where the bottom is hardened by gravel. Across such spots we ran from the Germans. Grandma, preparing our meager supper, saves a slice of bread, crosses herself, glances at the door, wondering if the ones needing help will appear quietly out of the shadows, or the other, the armed ones, will break in. The puppy's head pokes out from under a threadbare blanket, eyes closed. Tonight we are safe. In the morning, the Germans shoot 30 Poles. The next day, the Poles will fire at the German military train, which rolls with the war. People will not return to their homes. The river will flow, and the alders will grow and hide the bodies. And the last one of my mom's is titled A Chance. To live, I need, like air, human kindness, space, color, and fragrance of the world. I run away from jarring noise, mustiness, damaging anger. As long as there is a place for my return, I have a chance. Thank you. So now, this is my poem, and it's titled Poetry Dialogue Szansa. And the word szansa is that Polish word that I translated as a chance. And in this poem, by the way, I read it at there was an event, Dialogue Among Civilizations. You may remember that. It was like 2000, 2001. Poetry events were happening at the same time in different places in the world, and apparently also on Mount Everest somebody was reading poems. So I took part in it in Baltimore. And halfway through the poem, there is the title, A Chance, and 3 lines from that poem of my mother's that I just read to you. And you will see why. Am I safe?
You can pause anytime you want.
Okay.
Don't start if you don't feel comfortable.
Poetry Dialogue Szansa. Dialogue among civilizations is on. Names, faces, my face next to the microphone. My mother's name. I'm reading her poem. 1, 2, at the count of 5, the words come. A chance. To live, I need, like air, human kindness. I translate her words, try their English counterparts for feelings, hues, sounds, move them across the page, across the ocean. In my poems, I go to the USA, Mexico, Sri Lanka, Poland. A girl dancing in a swirl of globes. I'm tasting her verses and mine, in the tongue she gave me, in the space of a chance. So, and here is the poem from Mexico. It's called Morelia, which is a name of a town in northern Mexico. I mentioned Sean Lockhart, who did art for that book. This was several Mexican poems I wrote after my trip in '97, and each of them has in the title has the name of the town that inspired it. So this one is Morelia, Dance of the Globes. The towers have separated from the naves and sing with the bells, leaving the blue tiled dome in the earthly domain, with people on the plaza, lit only here and there by retreating sun. Golden spikes on the gates, bubbling fountain sprays. People take over sun-warmed walls, benches, pavement stones. To the left, a boy reclines with his wares, filled with soap bubble water. To the right, a girl dances among globes of light. Her heavy boots, her whirling skirt, her hands extend to the glowing spheres. Her father laughs and blows more soap bubbles. A toddler wobbles in the swirl of balls that whisper, twinkle, promise, and go. I wish I could stay, watch this picture on the square, but the towers have rejoined the cathedral. All the spheres are joining the blue shadows. And I have to leave this time and place with the feeling of slow motion happiness of a small town square in long ago Poland on a sunny Sunday. So that word square is, of course, Polish word for square. And I really felt like I was home years back. It was wonderful. I loved Mexico. Okay, and two more. One is called, let's see, what is it called? That line in the protocol. I'm a scientist, and that's how I came to this country. After I got my PhD, I got a fellowship from Muscular Dystrophy Association. I came to San Francisco, and only then I got to Baltimore. So here I am at Johns Hopkins University in a building high above the city, and actually it was on a Halloween evening, and I was preparing experiment for the next day, and I was reading that line, cut the brain into small pieces. So obviously it was a poem, right? So, cut the brain into small pieces. The glass pane of a huge window cuts me away from the metropolis below, blooded by Halloween's sunset. Dressed in my white lab coat, I know that the line means a prelude to an experiment, entrance to a labyrinth of substructures, enzymes, neurotransmitters, nanomolecules. Yet with the glare of eerie light rising and dying in the sky, I see the rat brain transform daily into a daily morning, noon, afternoon, night human mind, a scientist, poet, woman, mother, wife. As the chilly blackness steals the splendid sky, the poet shocks the scientist by likening the mind to grandma's pin cushion, densely pierced, more and more pins pushed in. Do you remember those cushions? All right, so the last one. So the last one is titled Face Half Illuminated, Half in Shadow, and that's half the title of the book, which is Face Half Illuminated. So the whole thing is Face Half Illuminated, Half in Shadow, and I want to tell you how this poem happened. I was visiting my parents in Poland, and coming back to the States where my husband, who is over there, Andrzej, and my little son were waiting for me. And this was many years ago, and the travel wasn't that easy. And what else do I want to say? I got on the plane and I started writing, very, very emotional thing. And I started writing in in Polish. And then somewhere over the Atlantic, I switched to English. But I translated the thing for you. Beyond the small window, a woolly sheet underneath a dark gray wing. Isolated, we turn our clocks back. At first, cautiously, just 1 hour. Of words' colors, only gray, blue, and white remain. We drink over our losses, stuff the emptiness with meals. When we bravely turn our clocks back again, the smaller clouds blush. We begin to believe our powers over time. But at 2 p.m., above the white, blinding vastness, the moon turns up. Below, the mountains rise, ice fields crack. Tea time, a scone with clotted cream. I unpack the spoon. Months of heavy cream frosting float by. Needles on my window pane spell, beware. 1 more hour left. The passengers debate whether it's 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. In Warsaw, concealed by heaven, my parents sleep at 12 a.m. On I-95 in Maryland, at 6 p.m., my husband and son are nearing the place where I will touch the earth. Thank you.
One more time. That was amazing. Thank
You have copies for sale, is that right? Doc, how much are they? Just so we can make sure we have change.
$13 without 5 cents.
$13 without, what is that, $12.95? I don't know what that means. This is some Slavic money, I don't know what you're saying. $13 without 5 cents.
you. What's the change?
So, but you can keep the nickel. If we give you $13, oh, you keep it, okay, all right.
Or I can give it to the
Big spender. Hey, so we're going to take a break. I lied earlier. There actually is another exit here on the side, so if there is an emergency, we have, through the cameraman or up here and to the right, there's another exit. Down a ramp. Please don't congregate around. There's a ramp. Go down the ramp into the parking lot and then congregate. Look, you never know when there could be incoming. You know what I mean? We could be attacked at any time. Fires, there's, natural disasters. There's Rocky Jones. There's all kinds of...
All right, we got 3 more open micers and then our last feature. So I'm going to pull up my, let's pull up Dom again. Let me hear some Dom. Come on, Dom.
See what I got.
Pulling up to the building, often a church, the nerves I'm feeling have me quickly wielding a small flammable sword. One I seem to kiss more than the girl on the other side of the world. Seems to be menthol, exhaling the steam from a manhole in winter cold. COPD when this man's old, it's been foretold. A prediction, a premonition that lifts him to his higher power. Then the bud is flicked, and I walk in. See the coffee a person's blocking. Familiar friend greets me. I shake his hand and begin talking. My burning desire for coffee has me walking toward a table holding cream. The powder cream that cakes up like dirt or cocaine, so your cup needs a shower, seems. Also a school at the top of the guide pyramid of food, where students of sugar celebrate and shoot Hawk 2 microscopic candy apple spitballs at sugar substitutes. Pink and blue, yellow too. Accessories I do not use, no extras, need mine black. Like you, the rest of me is black and blue. Did you see what I saw too? The pot is silver, cylindrical, like a keg of booze. Instead I choose to take a seat at a round table where nights are free. Women and men of different creeds, backgrounds, gender, race, orientation, religious beliefs share their strength as I feel the love and suffering, listening to the stuff I need. Wisdom from those staying green. The praying seemed to come too fast. I have a burning desire that'll keep me coming back. Thank you.
All right, I'm going to bring up my illustrious co-host, Cliff Flynn. Come on up, buddy.
Hey, love is a bus. Come on, let's throw ourselves under. I don't like to brag, but I won some money with this next one. It's called Versus Captain America. I am the small town obituary of that down on her luck cousin you hadn't thought of in ages. I captain you through the tunnel with you holding on to my belt. I'm the author of your worst days when you come to with white sauce where the past 72 hours should be. You're at everything in the apartment and can't find your library card. I am your library card. I was mad as an August desert moon this time last year, but I didn't bark like a chicken so nobody noticed, including you, including me. I am Atticus Finch versus Captain America. I am the parts of you that belong to the moon. I sit among you in the corner in a tattered, colorless Panama hat behind a screen of Woody Guthrie just beyond the corner of your eye. I speak as loud as the 4th of July, and my voice can only be heard by dogs. I'm your first child's first Christmas, your last anniversary with your last wife. I sleep like an idea at the foot of your bed. When you're away, I sleep like blue clouds on your couch with the eggs with the news on. When you're away, I roam the flat, fly fishing in your good shoes. I am your father's femur. I am the moon versus Captain America. I am red sky poetry lost in the storm, stanzas swept overboard and eaten by large pufferfish. I pirate steal into your dreams and read to you from chapters 7 and 8 of the Book of Fear. I will one day drive tens of thousands of miles out of my way to avoid paying a toll. Tolls are for suckers. Thank you. I am a man with the sculpted physique of a minor Greek god, trapped in a fat man's body. In 2009, I was a much sadder, thinner man with a jollier fat man inside, waiting impatiently to emerge. Earlier still, I was a man of moderate build, 53% water, squirreled away in the body of an obese man composed of 47% water. A werewolf trapped in sailor's clothing, I was an enlisted man with a tattoo of a large-breasted mermaid perched upon a fouled anchor, trapped in the body of an enlisted man without a single tattoo. A teetotaler stuck in the ruinous mind of the town drunk, a summa cum laude scholar trapped in the body of a college dropout. At one point in time, I was the picture of health, hidden in a teen patient with a murder-minded appendix. In the 60s, a 7-year-old trapped in the body of a boy of 6 3/4 years. In a previous life, I found myself the son of a ventriloquist dummy trapped in the body of the grandson of a ventriloquist dummy. In a previous life, I was a stereotypical asshat of a poet wedged into the body of a cornstalk-thin hint of a man trapped in a fat man's body. Thank you.
And our last reader of the night, Julie.
So this past week, yesterday actually was my last day at a job at a place that I've worked for about 7 years. And one of the things that was happening there We had two word processing programs available. Some of you may have experienced this. We had WordPerfect and we had Word, and I am a devoted WordPerfect user. And I'm sad to say that just as I was leaving, they chose to not renew our WordPerfect licenses and go just with Word. This is an economic decision, not a sensible one. In any case, I wrote this poem about Word after I had a really horrible experience trying to create a document, and it took days, and I ended up staying at work all night long to get it finished. This was my rant about Microsoft Word. Not that you asked, but just for the record, let me be clear. I hate Microsoft Word. I hate it to a degree and with a solemn depth that should be reserved for the most heinous and offensive transgressors. I hate it in a way that I don't hate anything. I'm a lover, not a hater, but I hate. I hate Word's arrogant assumption that it knows more about what I want to do than I do. I hate that the bizarre assumptions it makes cause me to click and click and click and click in a vain attempt to undo whatever it did. I hate that whatever it was never stays undone. I hate that it keeps its evil machinations secret, hidden from me, randomly moving things around and forcing ugly formatting upon me without recourse. I hate that a project that should have taken one person a few hours is now moving into the fourth or fifth day of a two-person concerted effort, and it still might not get done in time. And by the way, it did not get done in time. I hate that there are hours yet to go, overflowing with more mysterious, shape-shifting, disappearing text, hopscotching images, and the clicking, 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 clicking that it will take to correct those vagaries. I hate Word. Hate. Just saying.